Good evening. Welcome, peoples. Oh, appear to have lost your audio, Ben. Yeah, I've still
That
lost
was
it.
my bad. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
you told me to stop talking, so I
Oh,
just
so you
muted my
muted?
audio.
Yeah, rather than
I
stop
didn't.
talking. Because I know it's hard for a conversational narcissist to stop talking. So you unable to stop talking, you just muted yourself and stayed muted. Yes.
No, I started having a coughing fit, so I thought to
Mm.
myself, "Do you want to hear that?"
Well, I would have heard it, but they wouldn't.
Yeah, well, you made the point as to not make noise, so I muted it off. So we are here. Tetchy start, says
You're
Paul
a,
Armstrong.
you're a bit janky.
I'm always a bit janky, John.
Yeah, what's going on with your connection these days?
My connection seems fine at the moment. I mean, it does, but I'm a little bit annoyed because I've turned up here. I haven't had my second bath today. Um, so I'm not camera ready. So a little bit janky's actually fine by me, so that they don't get full HD right now. But we are here tonight to celebrate the first live television debate between the leaders of the two main parties, or the two joint leaders of the uniparty, as we like to call them over here. Now, let's take a look. Let's have a little deep dive into our fighters for this evening. In the red corner, standing at a tacit 6'2", he is the leader of the Labour Party. He is
Yeah, so soon I and Starmer facing up against each other. This'll be freaking riveting, won't it?
Paul Armstrong. I've got no idea how tall he is.
Freaking
I made
riveting.
it up.
He gets his clothes from either Mother Care or Baby Gap, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Did they actually hear me? Because they said gone, gone, gone. I hope they heard that.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they did. Did you hear that? Oh no, they didn't. Right. Okay. Well, do it again, Ben. Do it again. Yeah, don't bother. Don't bother. What a joke. We need a freaking producer. That's what we need.
In the red corner, standing at the made-up height of 6'2", it is Keith, son of a toolmaker, Keith Starmer.
Boo! Boo!
And his opponent tonight, in the blue corner, standing at a paltry 3'1", he is the model for which Roland the Rat was based. He is a banker.
And
It rhymes with wanker. It
and
is.
and weighing 73 pounds.
It is Rishi Sunak.
There, I give them both a boo and a clap, so I can't be accused of playing favourites. Playing favourites. No favourites. No favourites here. How could anyone have a favourite in this bunch?
Well, that's a very good question, John, and I will tell the people for points of reference tonight. If we need to talk to one another during this, we're going to have to press pause on the debate, and that means we're not speaking over them. But the way that this system is set up, it's so crap. Like, it's just so crap.
It's not that it's crap. It's, we had this problem with with OBS as well. When you were streaming another service, you can't I can't feed the audio to you down two separate pipes. That's the problem because there's only one pipe.
Mm.
So to not do what to not hear yourself, you would need to be in a separate connection. Hey, right. So anyway, who we got? What we got? We've got 3 minutes to start time. Paul Armstrong. And Paul Armstrong proudly notes that he was first in the chat. Yes, you were, Paul. What would you like? Ben, do you have any soggy peanuts left?
No, but I can do his let's get ready to rumble thing for him.
Well, we'll do that in a second. Do that in a second. Militant Mushroom, Ow Robin, good to see you. What's up? £7. What's that? £7.84.
84. Haven't seen you in a while.
No, well done. Paul, Robin, Julie. Good evening, Julie. I hope you're enjoying the little taster box. I'm sorry it was so little, but once you start going up in weight, it gets more expensive to post it, and I'm poor, as you know. As you very well know, and we've got to give Julie and Adam credit. They are strong supporters of us, Ben. Yes,
they are, and I'm gonna say to you guys in advance of this debate, okay? Don't expect these people to say anything of any kind of substance tonight, because they won't. It'll just be buzzwords and waffle, and maybe a bit of posturing and pivoting to immigration, because before yesterday/today, this wasn't the immigration election, but Nigel Farage has now made it so that it is. So I imagine immigration will come up far more. Paul Armstrong, I love you.
He is indeed accurate on this occasion, as always. But yes, in fact, let's even see if I can pull that comment up.
Yes,
there we go.
Yes, it is. And just for you, Paul, because I know we're within minutes now. Keith, Rishi, let's get ready to rumble!
Right.
See, that reverb button does have uses.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
It does. Right. Okay. So we've got 1 minute. 1 minute to go. It should be starting soon. Oh, hold on. Let's get to the end.
Yes, big up the Purple Party indeed, Robin. And also big up everybody, the nearly 400 live viewers I had this morning when I streamed for Nigel Farage.
Yeah, how did you get so many viewers in the morning?
I don't know. It was
joyous to behold.
It was joyous to experience. So the nearly 400 live viewers I had this morning, Thank you for coming along.
Wrong one. I pushed the wrong button. I need a producer.
There it is, look. Oh, we got some moving ITV graphics. And before ITV try and copy strike us, because we know they'll try, this will be severely transformed. This will be fair use. And we're just giving that warning in advance because Robin says that was epic. You say Farage and all take notice. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, it was. I want you to ignore the watermark in the bottom right of the screen.
I don't see one.
Yeah, there's one on the YouTube screen. There's a tiny writing watermark in the bottom right because I changed my motherboard and now Windows thinks it hasn't got a license.
Okay.
Windows... Major hardware change, yeah, normally it picks it up fine. But no, the now's decided that I don't have a license. So it's telling me to go and buy a new one. And I'm telling that to Foxtrot Oscar, as they say.
No, this is exactly what I would tell it as well. So yes, good evening to those of you who are watching live. And hello to those who are watching back on demand. Thank you for joining us here. We are just now within seconds of... look at this dramatic
Why is
graphic.
it not started? It should have started, should it not?
Click live. See where it says live?
Yeah.
Click that. It's now live. So just let it run.
Okay.
Let it run until it comes in because I'm guessing they're both about
it'll be delayed. It'll be time delayed from the TV, won't it?
It'll be time delayed from the TV and they're probably also both backstage crapping themselves.
Boom, 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 boom. So anyway,
Keith's in front of a mirror right now. My father was a toolmaker. My father was a toolmaker.
What is going on? Why is it not coming up?
It will come up. I promise you. It's going to happen.
Has anyone else got it up and running? Have you got it up and running separately?
Let me go to the
Just in case.
Let's go and check.
I do feel a bit worried here. Oh no! Here we go! Here we go! We have people.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, do you want to hear it?
Yeah, can they hear it?
Not yet. I don't think you guys can't hear it yet, can you? Troll room, can you hear that? I don't think you can.
We kind of need to hear it.
Election with these two men who want to run the country.
Can you hear it now?
Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer.
Woo!
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight's debate is set against the toughest of backdrops since the UK
No,
last
it's
went
not
to
that
the polls.
tough.
We've
It
had
looks
a pandemic,
computer generated.
Putin's invasion of Ukraine,
I mean,
the cost of living crisis, which is still hitting families hard. Huge geopolitical threats loom large, not least, of course, climate change. We all know how tough it's been. We don't need the politicians to remind us.
Climate
So what are
change.
these two men going to offer us? Who are they? And why should they
That's the science.
vote?
The
Can they
science.
level with us?
Let
when
us
we know
pray.
that
We have
finances are
prayed.
almost impossibly tight. Later tonight, you'll be able to see what other parties are offering when they're interviewed live on ITV1 by Anushka Astana. And the conversation will continue on the national and regional news. But now,
Such dramatic news.
tonight's
Yeah, Ben
debate.
will have an echo.
Keir
That's
Starmer, your
we
opening
can't avoid
statement,
that.
please.
Thank you very much. This election is all about a choice. More of the chaos and division we've seen for the last 14 years,
Oh, God.
or turning the page and rebuilding with Labour. I have ambition for our country and have a practical plan to deliver it. I've changed the Labour Party and put it back in the service of working people. Now I'm seeking your backing to change our country, to make it work once again for you and your family.
I'm sorry, right. You're supposed to put your hand up before you want to talk so I can turn them off, right? Hold on, let me listen to Rishi now.
So I'll keep this simple. In 5 weeks, either Keir Starmer or I will be Prime Minister. Beyond raising your taxes and raiding your pensions, no one knows what Labour would actually do. But you know what I would do. I'll cut your taxes, protect your pension, and reduce immigration.
Well, you should have done
I
that
have
the
a
fucking
clear
first
plan
time.
for a more
And I'll send your young to work as slaves.
Right. Starmer's just, he's got no gravitas at all. He's just
None.
shocking. We don't want to hear about the bloody stupid, look at the state of this bunch. Look at this state of Starmer's apparently 5'8". 5'8" from the troll room. Chris Jones in the troll room tells us that Farmer is 5'8". Yes, Shalini, we've discussed the warmest May.
We need to put this on because I think
Wherever
We
you
don't. They're talking nonsense. They're only talking about hashtag ITV debate. You want to hear them? You want to hear her talking nonsense about how they're going to have 5 seconds to respond to the questions?
I do want to hear what the first question might be, and you're going to miss it.
well,
with it
no,
muted.
we won't.
Let's go.
I've worked since I was 15 years old, and at the moment I hold a full-time, stable job. My children have left home. In the last few years, I found it very difficult to make ends meet, and the money simply doesn't go far enough. All I do is work to live. My food bill is nearly doubled. I'm in arrears with my bills. I spend my weekends back cooking, so I don't have to turn on my oven in peak times. My savings are gone, and I'm genuinely worried about my future. I don't think you actually understand how this is for people like me. So what can you do about that?
Thank you very much indeed, Paula, for your question.
What can you do?
Rishi Sunak.
Well, Paula, I know how much of a strain the last few years have put on your family finances, the family finances of everyone in our country.
Go on.
No, pause it. Actually, pause it.
Really?
Yeah, so we can actually hear what they're saying.
First,
Actually,
the
pause it.
pandemic, and more recently, my clear
I
pan.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Oh God, I need a producer.
Listen to me.
You
He
sound like
made
an
you
echo.
poor.
Right.
That's it. He the man who raided all of the
Was that
country's
it?
money to
Was that
fund lockdown.
So I had to pause it and change the mix minus just for you to say he made you poor.
You know what? I'll shut up and I'm just going to put my feet up and watch.
Fucking hell. Well, I mean, what else can we do? This is just shocking.
I'm just going to put my feet up and watch. You can talk.
And now, our economy is growing again, wages are rising, and crucially, we are able to now start cutting your taxes. But I know you're only just starting to see the benefits of that, as you described. So the choice at this election is, with my clear plan and bold action to keep cutting your taxes to give you financial security, or put all that progress at risk with higher taxes, £2,000 worth of higher taxes under the Labour Party.
Thank you, Rishi Sunak. Keir Starmer.
Paula, I'm really sorry to hear the position that you're in. It must be really, really difficult on a daily basis. And there'll be millions of people watching this who feel in a similar position to you, that the cost of living crisis is really bearing down on them with constant worry. I'm not going to pretend that Ukraine and COVID hasn't made things worse. This government has lost control.
Hold on. It wasn't... Right. Just a minute. Ukraine and COVID didn't make anything worse.
It was them.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't
you.
It was the government responses to whether it's to the pandemic, right? It was a government response that made things worse, because Sweden did absolutely nothing and killed less people than Scotland per capita. Right?
I mean, it wasn't COVID. It was all of the financial measures that they enacted, and you, Keith, you agreed with. Anyway, let's continue.
Right. Okay, continuing.
It's people like you that are paying the price, because if a government loses control of the economy, as they have, it's working people that pay the price. And Liz Truss's advisors are in the House of Lords.
Liz
She's
Truss
going to
isn't
be a
relevant.
candidate at the next election. Rishi Sunak is putting her forward. We've got to stop this chaos, got to stop the division, turn a page and start to rebuild under Labour.
Thank you for those opening statements, 45 seconds each. Just to turn to you first, Keir Starmer, the point that Rishi Sunak made is the economy is growing again. The plan is working, is his view.
Well, he says the plan is working.
Hand thing.
He says the plan is working. So the question for him is, why has he called the election now? Because if he thinks things are going to get better towards the second half of this year, why has he called it now? He's called it now because he knows, and I'll ask him this, he knows inflation is going to go back up. He knows energy prices are going to go back up in the autumn. That's what he's not telling you. So he says the plan is working, but I don't think he believes the plan is working, because if he thought the plan is working, he wouldn't have called this election right now.
Do you think there is a plan?
I think it's slightly ironic, because from the moment I got this job, Keir Starmer was telling me, call an election, call an election. And now that we've called an election, he's saying, oh, no, don't have an election, because I don't want to tell you what I'm going to do.
And
this is the choice. This is
the
choice for everybody.
Strip to the waist and fight like men.
Of course I know everyone is only just starting to feel the benefits of it, but inflation is back to normal, wages are growing, taxes are now being cut. Keir Starmer would put all that progress at risk. He would put up everyone's taxes by £2,000. £2,000 in higher taxes for every working family in our country after all the hard work and sacrifice we've been through. That's not the right course of action. I don't know why you want to put up people's taxes.
Paula, I just don't know how you feel when you hear a Prime Minister say, having heard what you're going through, that the plan is working, it's all right. I meet so many people who are struggling with their bills, and the Prime Minister just keeps saying he lives in a different world.
He won't respond.
If people are struggling with their bills, why do you want to make it harder for them by saddling them with £2,000 worth?
Good question!
How is that going to make Paula or anyone's life easier?
Could you respond directly to Rishi Sunak?
This is the Prime Minister who's been part of the government that has put up
He's not even looking at him.
26 times.
That's really ignorant.
The last manifesto that they had in 2019 said we won't put up national insurance. This man then put up national insurance. He's the British expert on tax rises. They're at the highest level for 70 years. And he's got the gall to say other people are going to...
I know you're going to hear a lot about the past in this election, but this election is about the future. This election is about the future, and I'm clear that I'm going to keep cutting...
So why are you
You want to put everyone's taxes up by £2,000, and this is really important. Independent Treasury officials have costed Labour's policies, and they amount to a £2,000 tax rise for every working family. No, this is important. Mark my words. Labour will raise your taxes. It's in their DNA. Your work, your car, your pension.
Thank you. Okay,
you name it.
Sorry,
Labour will tax it.
I'm just going to draw breath there a moment, please, gentlemen. We're going to be talking about tax again later on.
I just want to answer that point.
Oh my God, he's still going.
This part of the debate back very firmly to Paula's question. She made it very clear how hard her life is at the moment. You did acknowledge it, both of you. She spends her weekends batch cooking, so she doesn't have to turn her oven on during peak times. There is worry here right before our eyes that were being echoed across the country. One of the key points that Paula says is this says, I don't think you understand how hard it is for people like me. What are you going to do about it? How do you actually connect with Paula? Rishi Sunak.
Well, I'd ask everyone to judge me by my actions. You saw what I did during the pandemic. When disaster hit our country, I implemented the furlough scheme because I knew the impact, devastating impact it would have on people. And you know what? Every week when I'm out and about, someone comes up to me and tells me how furlough saved their family,
that's the big book of things that never happened.
Who I am, and I don't want to put that progress at risk. I want to keep delivering financial security by cutting people's taxes.
Thank you.
Whereas the Labour Party
will
keep
keep
putting
putting
people's
going.
taxes up, and that's not going to help anyone overcome the challenges they're facing.
Paula wants to know what you're going to do about it.
Yeah, well, I think what
Starmer.
you put to the Prime Minister is...
God, we're fed up listening to Paula's question.
And Paula, what I would say is this.
What do you want?
My dad was he was a toolmaker. My mum was a nurse. We didn't have a growing up, and we were in a position on occasion where we couldn't pay our bills. So I know how that feels. In our particular case, we had our phone cut off because we didn't have the money. So I do know the anguish of worrying when the postman comes with a bill. What is that bill going to be? Can I pay
Are you saying
I don't think the Prime Minister
should cut
quite
out the baking
understands the position
altogether.
that you
Keep
and
the
other
oven
people
off.
are in. I do want to, if I may, just answer that.
Please let Rishi respond to that, please.
Because this election is about the future and making people's lives better. Now, I've got a clear plan to ease those anxieties that Paula and everyone is facing, because things are tough. I want to make them easier by continuing to cut your taxes. The difference at this election is Keir Starmer is going to put your taxes up by £2,000.
Thank you.
So if people are worried about their electricity bill, their food bill...
OK, thank you very much. I am going to stop.
£2,000 worth of tax rises are not going to help with any of those things.
Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer.
Why do you want to put
draw a
everyone's
line
taxes
under
up?
this part of the debate. We're going to be talking about tax again later on.
God,
and also to both of you, we'll be talking about that. Paula, thank you very much indeed for your question. We're now...
Right. I do believe that we should be playing this game that they are saying in the
bingo,
chat.
toolmaker bingo. Right. Okay.
And at the next debate, I also think I might get some sort of alcoholic beverage, despite the fact I'm teetotal, and we'll play a toolmaker drinking game.
Right. Okay.
I think that should be a thing. But yeah, he's already said it once already. He's done the toolmaker line.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh bloody hell! Yeah. Do you think you'll use it again?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Oh, good grief. Right. Okay, we're moving on, people.
A shot every time you hear toolmaker.
Some other issues that may come up in tonight's debate is a devolved area. That means policies set directly in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, and the UK government sets policy for England. So our next question is about the health service, and it's from Janet from Telford. Janet.
Thank you. I've interacted more with the NHS lately than the average person. I'm a cancer survivor. My son is a nurse. I recently lost a cousin who was waiting for surgery.
Well, that was careless.
No one is brave enough to tell us the truth. The NHS is broken. Be honest with us. How long will it take to fix it?
Thank you very much indeed. Janet, Keir Starmer.
Janet, I'm really sorry to hear about your own
Jesus
position
Christ.
and that of your relatives. My wife works in the NHS in one of the big London hospitals. My mum was a nurse, my sister was a nurse, so the DNA...
What was your dad do? What was your
You can
dad?
imagine just how angry I am that it's been broken, and it has been broken exactly as you described.
not gonna say it.
It's unforgivable what's happened to the NHS, and to come into power for 14 years and leave the NHS in a worse state than when you found it is unforgivable in politics.
Unforgivable.
And Rishi Sunak stood 18 months ago, Janet, and said that those waiting lists, which are now nearly 8 million, he said he'll get them down. He made a promise. He said he'd be held accountable. They were 7.2 million at the time. Now they're 7.5 million. So
Thank
they've
you.
gone up, and that bears
you.
down on the NHS.
Thank
We're
Rishi
doing
Sunak.
something right.
Well,
We're
Janet,
making things
thank
go
you
up.
for sharing your story, and I'm glad that you've recovered. And I'm sorry for your loss as well. Now, my dad was a GP, my mum was a pharmacist, so I'm speaking
You can drink
as
for that.
someone who
He's
was
mentioned his
brought
dad's
up
job now.
in the NHS, surrounded by people who dedicated their lives to it. And the
This is
evenings in
so
my house growing
destroying.
up, my parents spoke about how they could provide more care for their patients.
Yeah,
like
Labour
you.
is running the Welsh
And that's how I think
NHS,
about
Julie.
the NHS.
That's
And of
correct.
course it's difficult, and you're right, and we have to be honest.
And the
about
SNP are
damage
running the
that COVID has
Scottish
done and the time it will take to
Health
recover
Service.
from that. But we've put record funding in, we're training more doctors and nurses, we're doing more checks and scans, and what I want you to know is that the NHS is safe in my hands. I will always stand up for it to give you and everyone else the peace of mind that it will be there for you and your families when you need it.
Thank you very much. Janet put this question. Keir Starmer agreed with a part of that question, that the NHS is broken. Your response to that, Rishi Sunak?
Well, as Janet knows and everyone knows, the NHS is still recovering from COVID. We went through the best part of 2 years where the NHS couldn't conduct all the treatments it normally would, and it is going to take time to recover from that. But we are now making progress. The waiting lists are coming down. But what Keir Starmer didn't mention to you,
What about
which
the
you did,
choreography?
Julie,
Waiting list
actually-
7.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. He says they're coming down, and this is the guy who says he's good at maths.
Yeah, they are now coming down. They are now coming down.
7.2
Yes.
when you said you get them down, 7.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. I'd like you to explain how they're coming down.
I think we're going to have to
They
give
were
a
coming down
point
from
to
where they were when they were
Keith
higher.
there.
And they-
Point to
and they
Keith.
are down. They are down, right?
Point to Keith.
Because the NHS was impacted by industrial action. And if it wasn't for that, a half a million appointments
It's somebody else's fault.
Strike,
No,
strike,
but let me
strike,
address the
strike.
question, because, as you said, Julie, the NHS has devolved. So different parties are responsible for the NHS in different parts of the United Kingdom.
True.
Keir Starmer's party are responsible for it in Wales. Now,
True.
the NHS has been impacted by COVID everywhere. But things are difficult in England, I know that. But if you were in Wales, you would be waiting 40% longer for treatment.
Oh, point
And
to
the missing
Rishi.
A times
Point
are the
to
worst in
Rishi.
Great Britain,
Thank you.
and 1 in 4 people are on a waiting list. So yes, the NHS has challenges, but it has challenges
I'm
everywhere,
literally
regardless
looking-
of the party that's
I'm
in
looking
charge.
at Janet's
Thank you.
response, when
thought
all
that
the
was
Prime
well.
Minister can say to her is that what the position is in Wales. Janet, I don't know.
Wow,
you may
she's
not
got
be
some
interested in the
edema
position
in
in
those
Wales. You may be
legs.
interested in the position that you're
See,
facing.
if you poke that, I bet you
what
can
the
make a
Prime
big
Minister takes
hole in her leg and
responsibility
it would
for
stay
what
there
he's
for
responsible
ages.
for.
You know.
But what you'll get with the
Yeah.
Prime
Yeah.
Minister is somebody
Yeah.
who makes a promise saying, I will be held personally
be a filmmaker.
responsible for bringing those waiting lists
Okay.
down.
Yeah.
At the moment they don't come down, what does he do? He blames everybody
Okay,
else.
Keir Starmer-
What did personal
No.
responsibility
Stop.
actually mean?
Very
Actually,
clear.
sorry, can I just intervene there and ask very specifically then, Keir Starmer, what would you do about the doctor strikes that Rishi Sunak raised? Can you answer
File
that
them.
very directly to
File
Rishi
them all.
Sunak?
We've got to resolve them, and for months and months and months, the Prime Minister hasn't resolved them. They've
Send
been
the
arguing
doctors
about who
back
gets
to
in the room.
Uganda.
You've got to get in the room, you've got to resolve it because the NHS needs to get back to work. But we've also got to bring down the waiting list. We've got a plan for 40,000 extra appointments each and every week. That's 2 million a year to bring those waiting lists down. They're at a record high. And under the last Labour government, the record was waiting lists right down, satisfaction in the NHS at a record high. That's completely been turned on its head.
OK, Rishi
One thing.
Sunak.
I'm
hold
really
on,
grateful
hold
for
on.
everyone
I've
in the
got a
NHS
signal
for
from my
working
colleague
so
here.
hard, and we have now.
40,000 extra appointments a week is bugger all.
Yeah, I know. And
It's
remember,
really not a lot.
Rishi got a good point there when he said that the waiting list in Wales is 40% higher than it was before he started.
Yeah, didn't you
And
see?
they're run by Labour.
Didn't you see that Grogu here was agreeing? He was
Yeah,
agreeing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what he was doing? I thought he was
He was-
just making noise on the microphone. Right,
No, he's
okay.
agreeing.
Shall we carry on?
We'll carry on just a second, because 40,000 a week is far less than what was cancelled for nearly 3 years.
Yeah, but
So-
choreography is important.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean,
so.
that's a terrible disease if you can't get your choreography done.
now we can carry on.
Junior doctors. And of course I want to do that to make sure it's fair and affordable though. But despite being offered the most generous pay settlement anywhere in the NHS and indeed the public sector, the union are demanding a 35% pay rise, and I don't want to raise your taxes to pay for that because I don't think it's right. But I will say this.
I think it's
So,
to
when
each
Keir
of them.
Starmer says he'll resolve it, he hasn't explained to you how. But I will say
perhaps
this:
you
the
could
British.
answer that, Keir Starmer.
Well, we wouldn't pay the 35%. We've already said that to the doctors. We can't afford it because the government's already broken the economy, and there are many things that now can't be afforded. So we're not going to pay that. But what you can't do is what the Prime Minister has done, which is to
Well, you just said you'd resolve it. So what would you do?
At the end of the
So
day...
you're not going to give them the 35% pay rise that they're
It's just
asking
like
for.
Ben,
So how
when
would
he
you
won't let me
resolve it?
talk.
Just standing there and saying, I'll resolve it, isn't an answer. That's not a plan.
Prime
Is
Minister,
there
How would
anybody
you
keep the
resolve it?
score?
Prime Minister,
Paul,
your
have you
record
got an accurate
is a
score?
Well, no,
Well,
how would you resolve it? You want to be Prime Minister. How would you resolve the strike?
wish he had a vote.
How would you resolve them?
I wish he had as
Let-
much to say when Liz Truss was crashing the economy.
Could you answer Rishi Sunak's point, please,
Yeah,
Keir
that's
Starmer?
twice
I will
he's
when I
mentioned
can get a
Liz
word in
Truss.
edgeways. His record is
He'll
of
take a
saying,
point
I'm
off
not
the
going to
next
get in the
time.
room to negotiate. And what have we got?
No. We've been in the room to
What
negotiate.
have we got? Ongoing
Let him
strikes.
answer.
We have to end these strikes.
How?
The grown-up way to do that is to get in the room and to negotiate with the doctors and come to a settlement. There's only two ways forward.
Can I
One
just
is a
say,
continuing
isn't that the
strike,
grown-up
which is
thing to
what
do
we've
when
had
you're at
for
war
a
as
very,
well?
very long time.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
now 4.5 weeks from election.
I'm not saying
He's
anything
gonna
else.
kick it into the long
That's
grass.
all I'm saying.
Or you get grown up, you go in the room and you resolve this. That does not mean
Okay.
you agree with the
Okay, I want to-
35%. We can't afford
Thank
that.
you.
But we have got to settle
but on-
Okay,
on this
thank you.
point,
I'm
on
going to
this
pause
point,
it there.
listen-
I'm going to pause that there, please, because I want to return to another part of Janet's question
Yeah,
that you
Kruger
did
ran
touch
round her
on,
neck.
that she lost her cousin who was waiting for surgery. These waiting lists are a matter of life
think
and
these
death.
people are
a
making
quick,
up these
point
stories,
of information
these
to both
questions.
of you. If you have
Both
loved
these
ones
people are
on a
responsible-
long waiting
both
list
of these
for
people are
surgery,
responsible for the waiting list.
if you felt that that was the only way forward, use private healthcare, Rishi Sunak.
Through personal
Yes.
obesity.
Keir Starmer.
No.
Absolutely no if your loved one was on a waiting list
What?
for surgery.
No.
Thank you very much.
I don't use private health.
Okay.
I use the NHS.
You
That's
took
where
a
my wife
knighthood, though.
works, in one of the big
How can
hospitals.
that? How
As
can
I
a
said,
Labour MP take a knighthood?
It runs through my DNA.
Okay,
I don't
thank
use
you.
telling me
private
if-
Thank you. We've had the answers to that.
Oh, he nearly
very
said it.
clearly. And I just want to pause there to move on to a different aspect of debate.
Did you hear
on
that?
the
He said it
NHS.
runs through my DNA.
Everyone knows that fixing the NHS depends
It's
on
in my
fixing
DNA.
social care. 5 years ago, Boris Johnson was standing where you both are now. He told me there was a plan ready to go on this. We're still
going back to
waiting.
France. I think you're
Will
right,
you
Robin.
both now commit to a fully funded solution in your
Yeah.
manifesto this time round? Yes or no? Rishi Sunak.
Yes, well, we've already implemented charging reform. Pilots are in place to implement the reforms. They will
It
be
will be-
rolled out later this year.
It's
both got a speech
it will be
impediment,
fully
haven't they?
funded in your manifesto.
We've already given social care an extra
Yep.
8 billion because
Okay.
the pressures are immediate.
Thank you.
And the pilot
Billion.
reforms are there for charging.
Okay, we heard that answer. Yes or no?
We will have a plan for social care, and like everything else in our manifesto, it'll be fully costed and fully funded. It starts with the workforce because,
hold
as
on.
you know,
Let me
one of
pause
the
on.
biggest problems in social care.
Sorry, proceed.
His answer.
Oh,
Oh, his answer to everything so far is we
we
will
have
have
a plan. Yes, we have a
What
plan.
Plan.
Yeah,
Not-
but he's-
I
he's not
don't want to
detailing.
hear. I don't want to hear. It's in my DNA. My father was a toolmaker. You know, my father. It's in my DNA. It's fully costed. Every time you guys say it's fully costed, you come out with your costings, and your costings are a magic bloody money tree.
The plan. Don't mess with the plan. Right, what's the score, Paul? Come on, have you been keeping score? Because you
I
said
think
Starmer's
it's about.
ahead.
I think no, I actually do think it's about 1-1 because we direct mentions of the father. 1-1.
Yeah, okay, 1-0. 1-0.
Yeah,
Right,
it is such a farce. It is such a farce, Shalini. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, it's a joke. I mean, these guys are like, what are they like as well? None of them have, you can't believe either of them, can you?
No, you can't, because they're both full of absolute crap. as we call them, the uni party, right?
Yeah.
All of the stuff that crippled our economy was agreed upon by both of these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a fact. That is a fact. The reasons that our economy is crippled right now are directly involved with these two people.
Absolutely.
Fragmented, poor conditions, and many people.
Thank you.
Well, you talk about the workforce. If I could just pick up on this workforce question, because it is important, because there's no way to get Janet and everyone else the care they need without a workforce.
Okay.
But the British Medical Association has warned that Keir Starmer's pension tax risks an exodus of doctors. We're talking about doctors from the
just
NHS.
attacking Labour policies rather than saying he's own.
Actually,
But it's also
thank you very much indeed. We're going to come on to tax very shortly. I am going to say, yes, tax will run through a lot of what we're discussing this evening. We will return very specifically to it. And I just want to stay on the issue of public services and take a quick fire on education. OK, we've had Harry, a message from Harry, who's a teacher just starting out, and Deborah, who has been a primary school head for 40 years. They've both been in touch with us to tell us effectively the same thing, that they cannot believe how bad things are in their sector. They want to know what you can do for them. Rishi Sunak.
Yes, well, I think education is the most powerful way that you can transform people's lives. That was something that my parents raised me with, and I'm grateful to all our teachers for what they're doing, which is why we're backing our schools with record investment at the moment, but also reforming how we teach our kids, which is why I'm proud that right now English school children are the best readers anywhere in the Western world, and that is testament to the hard work of teachers and the reforms of this Conservative government.
Well, there's a pattern here, isn't there? We've just been talking about the NHS, and Janet says it's broken. We've now gone to education, and the teachers say that's broken as well. And I know the Prime Minister has already said in the first however many minutes of the debate that he doesn't want to have anything to do with the last 14 years. I'm sorry, Prime Minister, you may want to just cast it off, but everybody else is living with it. When it comes to schools, we desperately need more teachers, because in secondary schools we do not have the teachers we need. So, for example, on key issues like
and you need to stop indoctrinating kids.
Maths being taught, and parents watching this will know, by supply teachers, by PE teachers, but not maths teachers. So we would have in place, one of our first steps would be to recruit 6,500 teachers to fill
I'll say is this,
which will help
you don't need to pause it.
I need to struggling to cope.
Because I can't hear myself back. I've taken my ears out. Right?
All right.
But what I'll say is this. You need to start teaching kids academics and nothing more. That's what the education system needs to be.
OK.
Have the teachers they need in the core subjects like maths. And I think for a child in a state secondary school who doesn't have a core teacher in something like maths is going to live with that for the rest of their lives. It's not a one-year problem or a two-year problem. If they're in their GCSEs, it's for life. And therefore, we will have 6,500 recruits. We will get rid of the tax break on private schools. That's a tough choice. I do understand that.
I didn't realise that Selene had been grooming Vaughan that long.
Yes, thank you. We've heard explain the policy. Thank you, Rishi Sunak, if you'd like to respond directly to
I don't agree with it, because I think people who work hard and aspire to provide that education for their kids should have that freedom. That's what my parents did, and I'll support it. But you heard it. Keir Starmer is going to raise taxes. But that's just the start, because there's a long list of other things that he needs to find the money for. So he's not going to start and stop there. There are £2,000 worth of tax rises coming for every working family in this country, and as I said, he's saying to you he's going to raise taxes.
I do need to answer
not the start, and that's not the end.
I do need to answer that, because he put that figure out there. Well, what's happened here is, it's a classic. They put in pretend Labour policies to the Treasury, and then they get a false readout. So I'll just tell you, what they've put in for this analysis is a mental health policy that isn't the Labour Party's policy. He's put in one of his own policies. He's asked the civil service to cost it, and they've come up with this figure of £2,000. They
are an independent civil service.
I think in terms
put it twice. I do need to do it.
Gentlemen, please, may I just say that people can have a lot of figures to get their heads around tonight. I'm not saying that people are more than capable of calculating that rapidly at home, but I do want to actually draw the focus then, given we're on this patch, very specifically onto the question of tax. I want to talk very specifically about tax before we finish this first half of our debate. Can we clarify the similarities in your positions? Please raise your hand if I am wrong. You, as Prime Minister, will not raise income tax. You will not raise national insurance in the next Parliament. And other than Labour on private schools, you will not raise VAT. Thank you for that instructive moment. We've had a lot of viewers getting in touch to ask, where is the money coming from to solve the huge challenges
just
raised by
admitted they
Paula,
won't raise
Janet and many others?
taxes.
Are you two gentlemen being honest?
He won't raise taxes.
We will raise
create
specific taxes, and we've been really clear what they are. We've already dealt with the tax break on private schools. We want to end the non-dom status completely. I think that the super rich should be paying their tax. I want to get rid of the equity loopholes that are there, again, for the super rich. And I think the oil and gas companies should be paying their fair share towards our energy. So we will raise those, but we won't raise the others.
Rishi Sunak.
Yes, well, we have already scrapped the non-dom regime and we have a 75%
Not
windfall
in full,
tax
you've left a
on
loophole.
energy companies, but independent Treasury civil servants have costed Labour's policies and it's £2,000. But you asked for specifics, really. So let's have a specific difference.
Please.
Hold on a second. While these talk shite,
No, because he's going to give a specific difference.
And ensure that the state pension is never subject to tax. That's all you'll get under a future Conservative government. Keir Starmer hasn't matched that pledge, which means for the first time in our country's history, if Labour are elected, pensioners will pay tax. I do not think that is right, and you should explain to everyone why you think pensioners will be paying a retirement tax under your government.
Briefly, please,
What the Prime Minister's done so far in the 2 weeks of this campaign is to make desperate gimmicks and put them on the table. He's told us he's going to get rid, it's their policy to get rid of national insurance altogether. That's £46 billion. He said it's their policy to get rid of inheritance tax. That's £10 billion. He says he's going to get rid of tax on pensioners.
You're just talking nonsense. But just answer the specific question. We have committed, I can tell you...
Thank you, not over each other. Thank you, not over each other.
No, but we've committed to the triple lock plus. Under us, the state pension will never pay tax. Under you, there's a retirement tax coming for British pensioners. I think it's appalling. Explain to people why do you think pensioners should pay tax on the state pension?
Okay.
The big problem with Liz Truss is that she made unfunded.
That's Liz Truss again. I'm taking a point off.
Everyone, because you asked, Julie.
Okay.
You asked about it. It's very clear. Pensioners under Keir Starmer will pay tax on the state pension for the first time in our country's history.
All right, I'm going to just
It is a retirement tax, and Keir Starmer can talk about the past all he wants, but in the future, pensioners have got a tax rise coming under your government.
All right, gentlemen,
why
please.
Do you want to do that to pensioners? Why do you want to put up their taxes?
We're just going to take a pause there. I just want to put this on the table. The Institute for Fiscal Studies independently has assessed that you are joining in a conspiracy of silence in not acknowledging the scale of the choices and trade-offs that will face us after the election. Unprotected budgets, that's budgets for areas outside of schools, the NHS and defence. They could face up to 4% of cuts a year. One word, can you rule those cuts out? Are you being level with us? One word with us, yes or no?
We're going to continue investing record sums in public services.
I ask yes or no?
No, we're not going to go back to austerity. I ran a public service for 5 years, the Crown Prosecution Service. I don't have enough money. I believe in our public service.
Thank you, Keir Starmer. Thank you, Rishi Sunak. For the time being, we will take a breath. After the break.
Yeah, OK.
Jesus Christ.
Wow,
I mean, so far, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been a whole lot of nothing.
It's a big non-event, isn't it? I'm quite disappointed in it.
Keep the break running.
So, what was I going to say? Yeah, that's pretty poor.
We're only halfway
let's
through.
have a little light relief. Oh, sorry, hold on. I can't hear you. Right. I can hear you now.
Okay, I was going to say, we're only halfway through. It could get better. It could get spicier. However...
It could. It's pretty poor. What does everybody else think?
It's pretty poor so far. And if you're enjoying our coverage of it, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, share this out, because you could either watch us take the piss out of it, or you could go and watch it and be even more bored.
Right. Okay.
Look, I mean, I'm talking to Reform,
What
and
the
they want me
fuck
to be
is that?
involved. not just to give him a
That's
big
shit,
whip,
Rod.
but, you know, to
I
be
know,
involved also.
but-
I'm a great supporter of Nigel and always have been.
Lying sack of
Who's to
plastic!
say what's going to happen?
Sounds like a yes to me.
Well, as I'm saying, you know, look, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be part of it, and you know, I've been waiting for this day for a long time to come, and I think I knew it was coming because you know I decided last week to put it out there that I've joined Reform, and you know, it's brilliant news, absolutely brilliant news, and I should do as much as I can do to help Reform win some votes.
Was he sober? Like, genuinely, was he so?
If I may, you have to remember that he may have some trouble articulating words because his lips are so Botoxed up.
Because he's so plastic, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty poor.
And like I said, lying sack of plastic. This man has been anti-Brexit, anti-Nigel up until about 3 days ago.
Mhm.
And then,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he's Nigel's best friend. He
Yeah.
hated Nigel. He was the guy that they wrote news articles about for having his bollocks to Brexit sign up, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
This is not. These people in the public eye just love to rewrite bloody history, don't they? To suit
Oh
themselves.
yeah. Well, I mean, the history is written by the winners. He's a winner in his eyes.
Robin, he did not need that to cause his brain damage. It'll be all the plastic surgeries, mate.
I think he's always been a bit dopey, hasn't he?
Brit Mate says Joe Biden speaks better than that ridiculous Duran Duran pound chop rod. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't know. Right, are they back?
No,
Are they not back?
not yet.
Hold
on.
The cameras have cut. They're patting each other on the back. I mean, you probably could have
Oh,
fast
right.
forwarded it a bit because we paused it.
Yeah, they might be back now. Hold on. I'm back up to live. Right, we're going live.
All right, we're back with this crap.
Hold on. Sorry. Oh, where's the
Come
fucking
on.
mouse gone?
Believed it was going to work, he wouldn't have called an election before it can be tested. He wouldn't have done it.
So, Keir Starmer said, smash the gangs. We put new laws in
Are you
Parliament
saying-
that have now led to
Can't see
almost
them.
1,000
There they are.
Could you give me a freaking
criminals and people
minute?
smugglers being arrested, serving hundreds of years in jail. Because we do need to smash the gangs. Keir Starmer voted against those laws. So as ever, you say one thing here, but your track record says something completely different, and you can't be trusted to tackle immigration.
So why are the numbers this year 10,000 record numbers? Why is that?
Because this
It's
is a
on your
challenge.
watch.
This is a growing challenge, but I've got a plan to deal with it
What are
because
you
I'm going to
doing
put
about
people
it?
on planes. What are you going to do with them? I can tell everyone what I'm going to do. You might not like it, but I've got a plan because we've got to have a deterrent. What are you going to do? Just tell everybody. What are you going to do with illegal
Rishi
migrants who
Sunak,
arrive?
please, can we please, gentlemen, we will lower our voices. Keir Starmer.
No,
please
just
respond
get on.
directly.
There's a pattern of behaviour
Who
here.
is she?
He said he would get waiting lists down. They've gone up.
What are you
He
going
said
to
he would
do,
stop the
Keith?
boats. We've got record numbers.
What are you
coming.
gonna do,
The
Keith?
promises he make are not worth the paper.
What are
they're
you
written
gonna
on.
do,
His
Keith?
plan is failing. We do have to deal with this problem, Stephen. We absolutely
you
have to
gonna
deal
do,
with it.
Keith?
We have to smash the gangs that are doing. I will never accept that the only criminal gangs that can't be taken down are these vile gangs. I've taken down terrorist gangs in my past. I've seen how it's done. I know it can be done. We'll have a border
didn't
security
take
from
down
the
the
Prime
criminal
Minister,
gang.
and
Oh,
we will
sorry,
get
did I say
done
that out
and stop
loud?
this vile trade and those boats coming over with very vulnerable
Thank
people.
you
few
very much.
gangs
No,
you
I'm just
didn't
gonna
take
just-
down,
look,
isn't
I'm just going to call a pause there. Thank you very much. A very specific question to you,
She's
if I may,
terrible.
Rishi
She's
Sunak,
channeling
and that is
her
on
inner
the
Marvel,
European
isn't she?
Convention on Human
Girl
Rights.
boss.
If your
I'm
Rwanda
a
plan
girl
is blocked
boss.
by the courts, and will this appear in your manifesto, that you would remove the UK from the European Convention on Human Rights? Is that part of your plan? Will that be in your
I'm
manifesto?
crystal clear. I believe all our plans are compliant with our international obligations, but if I'm forced to choose between securing our borders and our country's security or a foreign court, I'm going to choose our country's security every single time.
Rishi
that's a
gets
yes.
a point.
Excuse me, can I be clear? That
He
is
gets
a
a
yes.
point
I've
from
been
the
crystal
audience.
clear. I will choose our country's security ahead of membership of a foreign court every single time.
Very, very clear answer.
That
Keir
was
Starmer,
clear.
respond to that directly. To Rishi Sunak, please.
No, if I'm Prime Minister, we will not pull out of international agreements and international law, which is respected the world over. Because I want the UK to be a respected player on the global stage, not a pariah who doesn't agree with international
Right,
law.
hold on.
And those laws were put in place after the Second World War, after the horrors of the Second World War, when all governments, all
Keith's
countries
twisting
came
this a
together
little
and said,
bit, isn't he?
never again. And to rip, and it was a Conservative government. Churchill's fingerprints are on this instrument. So important was it for the Conservative Party. This Conservative Party is a million miles away from the Conservative Party of old.
I have a direct question to put to you, Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
You sound quite similar. Just to confirm for both of you, on the issue of safe routes. Are safe routes for people crossing the Channel not the answer, Keir Starmer?
Well, I
Definitely
don't
not
think
the answer.
anybody should be crossing the Channel. In relation to some countries, I do agree with safe routes. So, for example, well, just give me the example, Afghanistan, where everybody will observe the terrible scenes when the Taliban took over, and people risk their lives to interpret for our forces, etc. I thought they should be allowed to come here to safety, and I supported the safe routes for them to do so. There are circumstances where I do believe that's the right thing to do. Ukraine is another example.
We just...
What?
Right. So under Keith's campaign, there is a man in his ear, isn't there? Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And that man's name is Tony Blair, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And the entire destabilization of Afghanistan is because of
Tony Blair and Alistair Campbell.
hypocrite much. Continue.
There's another point I'd like to point out about Afghanistan. It wasn't the fact that the Taliban took over. It was the fact that the Americans and the UK ran out of the country fast as they could.
Yeah, that happened as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These two are...
Keith's not answering the question, though. I'll give
Keith
Sunak his
hasn't
point.
answered a single question so far.
I'll give Sunak points for that because he was explicitly clear he would pick Britain over any foreign court.
And that is exactly what any British leader should do.
Yeah.
Let's
We need
continue.
to keep this brief. Yes or no to safe routes for those
Of course
crossing
we
the
should have
Channel?
safe routes, but when we've controlled
Safe
our
routes.
borders, we will be able to have a conversation about the right number to accept. We've been a very generous, compassionate country. But we talk about European conventions. 20 European countries almost now have agreed with my approach, believe that you need to be able to return people to a safe country, otherwise you can't solve this problem. We still haven't heard from Keir Starmer, and this is meant to be a debate about the future. I will put people on planes to create that deterrent. Multiple other European countries agree with that. What will you do with illegal migrants who come here? What will you do with them?
Would you consider processing asylum claims in a third country, Keir Starmer?
Yes, if that was possible to do it in compliance with international law, of course. But just let me deal with this because...
So you do now agree?
So you...
Honestly,
now you've just changed your
I thought we
mind
were
on
not
this.
going to talk over each other.
So you do now agree with third country deals?
Thank you very much.
Could I just get a word in edgeways?
Mr.
Keith's not
Sunak.
looking good here.
Mr. Starmer.
At the moment, people are arriving by small boats and not having their claims processed. By the end of the year, that means there'll be 100,000 people in hotels at taxpayers' expense who are not having their claims processed.
What the
that means
freak
one
are
thing,
you going to do,
they
Keith?
cannot be returned. And that's why returns have gone down by 40% on his watch. Now, he'll say again, well, don't look at the last 14 years. I know that was terrible.
What are you
don't look
going
at that. I'm
to
just
do?
looking forward. But I'm sorry, we're all living with the consequence of your awful decision.
Thank you. So, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for that. We are trying to get as many topics in. Thank you. No, thank you. I'm just going to draw a line under that. We are just trying to cover as much ground as possible. I'm sure you
He won't
both
answer a damn
understand that.
question.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
We're going to turn...
I have a little bit of a solution, right?
What?
What if we just announce that the English Channel is full of sea mines?
What are white sharks? Climate change. White sharks have taken up residence in the English Channel.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't actually have to put sea mines in the channel. We just
No.
have to say they're in there.
Well, because the Channel is one of the world's busiest shipping routes. So the little boats that cross it aren't really of consequence, to be fair.
No, but we just say they're in there, and we see if that in itself is a deterrent.
No, it wouldn't be, because nobody would believe anything this per se. Having said that, I'm going out on a limb at this point in time and saying Keith is not covering himself in glory here.
I so far, I think if there is a winner of this so far,
It's looking like
it's
Sunak.
the rat. It's the rat.
I know, and I don't like Sunak, and I don't like Keith either. But I think the rat's going to beat the toolmaker unless he can pull it out at the last minute.
But there are 7 of these debates.
I wish his toolmaker dad had done that, pulled it out at the last minute.
Oh. Had to go there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Right, okay, shall we?
Yeah.
On Manchester, Omer.
Thank you. I'm worried about the UK's lack of leadership on the world stage. I want our PM to be strong enough to take a stand even when it's hard. So what should happen next to stop these awful scenes we're seeing in Gaza?
Oh,
thank you very much indeed for that question, Omer.
No. Hey, this is outrageous.
What has that got to do with Britain?
What's this got to do with? How's this? Yeah, it's got nothing to do. And you know what? We are too prevalent on the world stage. We're poking our nose into things that don't concern us. We're out there trying to be the big boy when we don't have the guns to back us up anymore. You know, you can't go out and be a big bully if you don't have the backup.
Right. So let me say this with, let me preface this with, I absolutely sympathise with the everyday man, woman, and child who's going through hardship in Gaza. I am on your side if you are that person. However, I do not think a British Prime Minister running for election should make what they're going to do about a conflict that this country has nothing to do with, and this country is not involved in, one of their running priorities. I'm sorry, but the purpose of a British Prime Minister is to serve the British people.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm actually going to address a point here from Britmate. British arms sent to Israel. Okay, where were the arms going? The ones that the US and Britain sent to Ukraine that were in the plane that crashed in Syria. Where were they going?
Let's continue this anyway.
Yeah, where were they going? Think about that one.
It has a wide range to it, but very specifically, it is about the Hamas terrorist atrocities of October the 7th, and then what unfolded after, the scenes of which we see on our television news every evening. So I'd like you both, please, to address that particular situation. A lot of people have been very uncomfortable with the stance that both of you have taken on this. How would you respond? First to Keir Starmer.
Well, Omar, the situation in Gaza is intolerable. It's catastrophic. Tens of thousands of people have been killed, a disproportionate number of women and children. So, Omar, what we need now is a ceasefire, a cessation of the hostilities straight away. And for these purposes, which is really important because it's a very grave situation, firstly, we have to get the hostages out. They've been held for a very, very long time, and I dread to think that the state they're in. Secondly, we desperately need humanitarian aid into Gaza, but desperately, it's catastrophic. Thirdly, and this is where the leadership piece comes in, we have to find a path to a lasting resolution. That has to be a two-state solution, and we need to show leadership on that. And I know that if we're elected into office, if we're humble enough to serve, that will be my solemn duty.
Rishi Sunak.
Yes. It's an awful situation, and I'm pleased actually that Keir Starmer supported alongside me Israel's right to defend itself in the face of the atrocious attack that they suffered.
Is this the last
question? Right now, you have seen the US have put a deal on the table, which we strongly support together with our allies to bring an immediate end to the hostilities, release hostages, get more aid in, and then build towards a lasting settlement with a two-state solution. We've led in providing more aid to Gaza, something I'm proud that we've done. Our troops have helped build the port that's being established. But more generally, the world is a more uncertain place. What Hamas is doing is indicative of the dangers we face, which is why I've made the bold decision also to lead, to increase investment in our country's defence, because I think that's necessary to keep you safe, everyone safe. It's something that the Labour Party have not matched.
Thank you very much.
Hamas are 3,000 miles away from
various
buzz.
considered responses to the first part of Omer's question. You raised a question there very specifically at the end of that statement, Rishi Sunak, raising the question about our security or otherwise under the potential leadership of Keir Starmer. Do you really think the man standing next to you is a threat to our national security?
I don't think the Labour Party can be trusted to keep this country as safe as the Conservatives. The world is a more dangerous and uncertain place than at any point since the end of the Cold War. I've made the decision to invest more in our defence, taking it up to 2.5% of GDP. Labour Party have not matched that. And worse than that, the person who would be Deputy Prime Minister under Keir Starmer does not believe in our nuclear deterrent, the ultimate guarantor of our security. So no, security, and my track record and our commitments prove that.
Keir Starmer.
This is shocking. Before I was
Could you tell
before I
your
was a politician, I was the Director of Public Prosecutions. I was working on national security. I was dealing with terrorist plots. One of them that we prosecuted was to take down 7 aeroplanes as they were halfway across the Atlantic. They were going to be blown up. That is one of the cases that I prosecuted, knowing how important it is to keep everybody in this country safe and sound. Imagine what would have happened if those planes had gone down. For the Prime Minister, who was at the time making money betting against the country during the financial crisis, that's what he was doing when I was acting on national security, to now say that somehow national security is safer in his hands is insulting.
Oh, right, hold on a minute, Keith. We're talking big picture stuff here. We're not talking little guy with shoe bomb or whatever climbing onto a plane and blowing it up mid-Atlantic. We're talking big picture stuff. And what we're talking about is things like nuclear deterrent and having the ability to put, a force on the ground if required. Now, I don't think we can do that right now. So I don't trust the Conservatives to keep us safe if anyone attacked us. I certainly don't trust anyone. I mean, we can't even put the ships that we have to sea because we don't even have sailors. The thing is, it would appear that the West has got to the point where we are so soft that we're not capable of withstanding an attack from any one country, right? But are we ever going to be attacked? That's the thing. So
I don't know.
But all this pish that you're getting from Starmer here is nothing but flowery pish. He's just talking about his own experiences in prosecuting. He didn't stop them. He just got the report at the end of the day and went, yeah, okay, let's take that to court. It looks like there's enough evidence. It'd be like, it would be like, what's their name, the National Crime Agency and all that, and the FBI and people like that, they would actually have the intelligence, the MI6, they would have intelligence, not prosecute them, but catch them, stop them, catch them, then report. That's all he did is read a report and designate a lawyer to go to court and prosecute it. That's not you being a hero, Keith. Your father was a better hero and he was a toolmaker.
I don't think I can add to that.
And it's childish.
Okay, thank you. A very brief response to that.
Well, I'd have rather had my job than work for extremists like Abu Qatada and Hizb ut-Tahrir.
So people should an extremist organisation.
No, Abu Qatada and Hizb ut-Tahrir, who you work for as well.
That was like...
But there's a clear choice.
Desperate.
I'm investing more in our country's defence, up to 2.5% of GDP.
Okay.
Gets a point for that.
Not doing that.
Okay.
So how can you tell people you keep them safe when you're not willing to invest more in our country?
Thanks for
he's on the rails.
those positions. I'm just going to draw a breath there. Just once again, we've got a quick fire question for you from Stephen from West Sussex, who sent us a question and asked, just very quickly, a very brief answer from both of you. Would convicted criminal Donald Trump be someone you, as Prime Minister, would want a special relationship with? Keir Starmer.
If he's elected president of the US, then we will deal with him. It's up to the people in the US to decide who they want as their president. And the special
even if he's a criminal.
The special relationship transcends whoever fills the post of Prime Minister and President because it's such an important, strong relationship.
Thank you. Rishi Sunak.
Yes, because having a strong relationship with our closest partner and ally in the United States is critical for keeping everyone in our country safe.
Thank you for those brief answers.
Those were the big boy answers.
We're getting on to another question now, and this one is on the very pressing issue on climate change.
Oh my God! They're bringing them out.
The world is facing a climate catastrophe now. both of you have broken promises on the environment. What are you doing to put climate at the very centre of your policies?
We can't change it.
Thank you for your question, sir. Now, moving on.
We cannot change it. It's as simple as that.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. You'll get a community noted.
I'm sorry, the only way we can change it is by taxing everybody to the fucking Stone Age.
Hey, get a producer. You're right. You're right, Brett, mate. We need a producer. Do you want to do the job? Do you?
Contact us at john@chasingdissent.com.
Yeah.
That's a real email address. Contact him there.
Yeah. Right, moving on.
Thank you very much, Rishi Sunak.
Well, Claire, I have 2 young girls, and this is what they talk to me about more
No,
than
don't try
anything
and sell
else.
them now,
And
Rishi.
of course,
No arranged
we're gonna
marriages
tackle
here.
climate change
Not
and
on
get to net
national
zero.
TV.
This election is about how we do it. And I don't think that British people should solve a global problem all by themselves, which is why I'm also prioritising our country's energy security and your bills. We've heard a lot about the cost of living challenges today. So I have made some decisions, bold decisions, that will mean that we can save all of you thousands of pounds, still meet our targets, and we can ensure our country's energy security. The contrast is clear at this election, because Keir Starmer will reverse all of the changes I've made. That's going to cost everyone and you thousands of pounds and make our country less energy secure by banning North Sea energy.
Okay.
And that, I don't think, is a right course for our country.
Rishi Sunak, thank you. Keir Starmer.
This £2,000 he keeps saying it's going to cost is absolute garbage. We won't go into the details of it. But Claire, let me address...
No, because
your
you're not
point,
going to
because
take
this is
any
really
details,
A
Keith.
transition is coming that's very important when it comes, for example, to energy, a transition to renewables. I don't think we should just see that as a challenge. It's a huge opportunity because if we go to renewable energy, that means cheaper bills. Renewables are cheaper,
No,
not
they're
just for the
not.
short term, but for the long term.
No, they're
it
not,
gives us
Keith.
energy security, so it means that Putin
Where's
can't
he
put his
getting
boot
that?
on our throat, and the result you've all been feeling for the last 2 years. But it also gives us the next generation of jobs.
Oh, hold on, who
Countries
blew up
have
the Nord
realised
Stream?
Renewables is the future. They're in the race. I want the UK to be in the race. I want us to win the race.
good
When it comes to
grief.
Thank
hydrogen,
you.
offshore wind,
Who's
solar,
Putin did
nuclear,
it?
Thank
the
you.
question I ask is why
Thank
not...
you very much.
Big
That's
boy
45
did it and
seconds,
ran
Keir Starmer.
away.
I'm going to try and stick to the rules if we can. There's a very specific point that Claire makes in her question. Both of you have broken your promises on the environment. Will you acknowledge that, right,
Yeah.
Rishi Sunak?
No, we're going to stick to the targets we've put in place, but we're going to do it in a way that saves you all money. I'm not going to impose thousands of pounds of costs on you to arbitrarily rip out your boiler, change your car, convert your home. When we've been talking about the cost of living challenges earlier in this debate, I don't think adding thousands of pounds of cost to you is the right thing. Now, Keir Starmer is going to reverse those changes that I made.
Okay,
So everyone is facing thousands of pounds of higher
Thank
bills.
you.
That
Thank
is
you.
the
Let's
choice at this election.
Let Keir Starmer respond to that and address the issue of broken promises. Please respond directly to what Rishi
It's hard
Sunak
to respond because
said.
he's making up as he goes along. But, let me do the best
At least he's saying
that I can,
something.
because the promise I made was clean power by 2030. It's one of my 5 missions, Claire, one of the most important things that I want an
What's his
incoming Labour government
mission
with driving
number
sense of
2?
Purpose to achieve. Clean power by
Pra-
2030. That's the
Mission
promise
number
I've
2,
made. That's
perfect
promise
the
I'll
art of
keep.
wiping
It'll
my
be in
bottom.
our manifesto. It'll be fully costed and fully funded.
Ben's
But the Prime
died.
Minister is slowing down on the climate change. The problem with that is not only is that inconsistent with our obligations, it will
Don't
cost
vote.
more in the
Don't
long
vote.
run.
OK, let
so
Rishi
it's
Sunak
completely
respond
head
to
in the
that.
sand stuff.
Rishi Sunak,
Keir Starmer's
respond.
going to reverse the changes I made.
Oh.
To install a heat pump now, if you don't need to, costs about £7,000 or £10,000. To convert your home,
Oh, I don't
again,
think
if
it
you're
does.
in a terraced
It
house in
costs a lot
Darlington,
more than that.
£10,000. Changing your car sooner than America, Canada, Sweden, France,
Emma's
Germany, as he
concerned.
wants you to do. Thousands of pounds.
OK, let
There's a
Keir
simple
Starmer
choice
respond
at this
direct-
election.
Thank you.
If you think Labour are going to win, start saving.
Let Keir Starmer respond to those specific points. Keir Starmer.
Oh, do you like that?
The company that the Prime Minister's been using to try and trail out these figures has done some analysis, which is actually published today, Prime Minister. You obviously haven't seen it. What they say, this is the company he's relying on, is that will cost more, the 2030 plan, if you're with the Prime Minister than with a Labour government. And that's been public. I don't know whether you've been too busy or you perhaps haven't seen it, but the very company that he relies on to talk about these false figures is actually saying it's more expensive with the Conservatives than with Labour. Now, I would like him just to answer that.
Rishi Sunak,
Anyone can
respond
go
direct
online
to
when
that.
they get home. Go and see how much it will cost to convert your home. Go and see how much it will cost to install the heat pump. Go and see how much it will cost to change your car. Those are all the things that he's going to force you to do sooner than is necessary. You can go and see tonight the thousands of pounds that's going to cost you. I said it before.
Who put the road tax up, Rishi? Who put the road tax up?
Thank you. Put up your
Thank you
bills
very much.
as clear as night follows.
I'm going to just return very briefly to Claire's question. She's talking about a climate catastrophe now. What are you doing to put climate...
What?
I listen to the words that people say, okay? And whilst Rishi Sunak is saying to you, oh, he's not going to do this to you, he keeps using the term sooner than is necessary.
Yeah, I know.
It's never necessary.
I know.
This is the
but
thing.
you can't say that. Of course it's necessary. Don't you realise that we're in the middle of a climate disaster? We are.
When was
You should be running about screaming with your hair on fire. We
No.
are in a climate disaster.
When was
Action must be
oil?
taken now.
When was the Maldives meant to be underwater?
Action taken now.
Isn't the Maldives meant to be underwater, and aren't they building a new?
Yeah, but it will be
international airport?
soon. It will be soon.
Well,
It'll be underwater sooner than is necessary.
I'm just saying. Rishi Sunak is saying he is going to do those things to you. Just maybe not as quickly.
Look, mate. Who put the road tax up? Yeah, I mean that was the Tories. They just did it. So what? Why do you think they wouldn't do these things? Nobody believes in a thing they're saying. What we're getting out of this so far, though, is that Starmer is not. He's not a statesman, is he?
Absolutely not. And what I've got out of this so far, and maybe my mind will be changed in the last 10 minutes or so of this debate, but what I've got out of this so far is that whichever one of these clowns win, we all lose.
Is it not only an hour? Does it go on for longer?
I don't know.
Oh, God, right. Okay, I'm going to play.
I am losing the will to live.
Yeah, so am I.
At the very centre of your policies, very briefly.
I want to set up Great British Energy. This is a publicly owned company that will generate energy, that will have investment alongside it. It'll be owned by the taxpayer, making money for the taxpayer, and drive us to renewables so that we can have lower bills, secure energy, and the jobs of the future. I also think that we should insulate our houses because I think people are paying far too much in their bills. And that was a project that was started 10 years ago and cancelled under the Conservatives when they said cut the green crap. We've lost 10 years. I'd get on with it and get your bills down because people are fed up with energy bills that have gone through the roof.
Thank you very much indeed for that. We've got another question, a very important question from Miles from Ilford for both of you. Now, hey,
Tice
Miles.
is out. Tice is gone, mate.
Like many young people, I completed my final years of sixth form under COVID restrictions, started university under them, and I've had to deal with a cost of living crisis, a housing crisis, and an unstable world. What future can you offer my generation, and when will we become your priority?
Thank you very much indeed. Kirsten.
We're just going to be a wage slave like the rest of us.
Well, Miles, what I think is really important is that you have the further education opportunities that you need, whether that's university or technical skills. I think either are perfectly, they're equivalent, they're really important. My dad was a toolmaker. University. So we would ensure that those jobs are there for you for the future, that you have the opportunity to get on, houses, so you don't have to be
that was just me
35, 36 before you own a house under this government. But what I won't be doing is sending you on national service, some sort of teenage dad's army, which would be what the Prime Minister would say. Forget going on to university. He wants to send you off to do national service.
Thank you very much, Kirsten.
You know, we have an enormous amount to be proud of as a country, but we do need to do more to make sure our young people, like you, Lars, get the opportunities that they deserve. So that's why we will introduce a modern form of national service. And I think it's going to be transformational for young people in our country, giving them opportunities they need to succeed in life, fostering a culture of service in our society, bringing it together, but also strengthening our resilience and security for the future. And I think it is going to be something that's incredibly positive. But beyond that, I want you to have financial security. So when you get that job, when you save for that house, we make it easier, which is why I want to keep cutting your taxes so you can keep more of your money build for a deposit for that first house, and not saddle you with £2,000 of higher taxes.
Thank you very much indeed, Rishi Sunak. Keir Starmer called the National Service proposals a teenage dad's army. What would you say to that, Rishi Sunak?
Yeah, I think
Tell him why you don't think it's that.
Yeah, whatever you might think of it, it is an idea that's transformational for our society.
Well, the army don't like it.
But
they say
Keir Starmer, all he can do is sneer at it. Sneer at it because you don't have any ideas for the future. You don't have anything that's bold, that's going to transform our country for the better. And in fact, everywhere I've been, since I've made the announcement, I've had people talking to me about how they think it will be wonderful for their children, how they think it will change our country for the better, and it's an example of the bold action that I'm prepared to take to do things differently to deliver a more secure future. You don't have big ideas like that.
They've been in power for 14 years.
14 years.
And after 14 years, with a few weeks to go before the election, they come out with this desperate idea. It was such a brilliant idea. Why for 14 years has your government not lifted a finger to do it? It's a desperate attempt. Now the election's being called to get some attention to put something on the table. The other thing I would say is this. It is very important, Miles, is that the money the Prime Minister says he's going to use for this national service, he's going to take away from levelling up. Remember that promise in 2019, we're going to level up? Well, now he's going to use the money for national service and the army say, and the military say, this isn't going to help us because we don't have the wherewithal to train people and it'll take away from our own budget.
Rishi Sunak to respond.
It's not thought through, it's not sensible, it's desperate.
Could you respond very specifically on those points?
Actually, having spoken to lots of people from the armed forces, they're very supportive of the plan, and they think it will do brilliant for them over time to attract people into the armed forces. And actually, the money that we spend on levelling up is partly spent spreading skills and opportunities for young people. And I think this is the best way to do it. But again, you've had 14 years with nothing to do but think about the future, but you have nothing to say about it, and all you can do is talk about the past. And it's clear, there are no big ideas here. If we want to transform our country for the better and deliver a secure future, you've got to have leaders who are prepared to do big, bold things.
Rishi Sunak saying you're stuck in the past, Keir Starmer.
On the one hand, he says these are all the big ideas that Keir Starmer's coming up with and they'll cost a fortune. Then he says he hasn't got any big ideas. I do appreciate why he doesn't want to talk about the last 14 years. He's ashamed of the last 14 years. He's not said tonight in this debate one thing saying, this is our proud record, vote for me because we've got a great record. He can't say that. He can't say vote for Conservatives because we've got great leaders, burnt through 5 Prime Ministers. So all he can do is say, please look at the future. Please don't look at what we've done in the last 14 years.
Thank you.
We cannot have 5 more years.
Well, at least they got rid of Jeremy Corbyn.
And listening very patiently to all of this, and I want to on that issue may have been between the two of you. You're both homeowners. The most common living arrangement for 18 to 34-year-olds is living with their parents. Do they young need to change their expectations of home ownership now? Do we have to be realistic about this? The young people of this country deserve some honesty. Rishi Sunak.
Yeah, it is too hard to own your own home. I want everyone to feel what I experienced when I got the keys to my first flat, because it's a very special feeling, and we need to make it easy.
What? We keep losing you. You kept going in and out.
Yeah, it said sinking.
That was really weird, and it wasn't just. I thought it was me going in and out.
No, it happened here. I don't know why it did that. It did it about 3 or 4 times.
Shalini says, who's the purple party? Well, that's both of them together. Blue and red equals purple, because let's face it, as I keep saying, and as I said this morning in my stream, this isn't a victory of one over the other. This is just handing the baton to your mate. That's all this is. You know, straight after this, they're going into the Westminster Bar or whatever, and they're drinking together. They're all friends behind the scenes. It's one big show.
It's an act.
And if you agree with what I'm saying, hit the like button. Hit the goddamn like button. Make me a happy man.
How long's this got to go?
I don't know. Just keep going. Look, we've committed to it. We've got to do it.
Okay.
And that's why we've delivered 1 million homes in this Parliament, and we'll keep building homes in the right place, but not concreting over the countryside as Labour would do. But crucially, we need to make it easy for you to save for that deposit. And that's why I want your hard work to be rewarded. I don't think we should be taxing you more, because that's just going to make it even harder for you to get on the property ladder.
Thank you. Keir Starmer, on this specific point.
I think what you raise is really important, because for young people, the dream of home ownership has all but gone. the average age for owning a home now, Miles, is late 30s. That's shocking, because I know what your own roof over your head means for an individual. It meant the world to me when I was growing up. So we will build 1.5 million homes. Picking a number requires a plan. And if those homes are going to be built, we're going to have to change the planning laws to make sure we can get on with it. We're going to have to make sure our mayors and combined authorities have the powers they need to put the homes in the places. And we need to make sure the amenities are there, the schools, the health clubs, etc., to support those homes. So we've got a clear plan to deliver on the homes that will make sure, Miles, that you get that chance of the dream far earlier than you do under this failed government.
All right, thank you very much indeed. There was so much that was in the question from Miles. Thank you very much indeed for that. And we're just going to come now to a final quick-fire question. It's been a pretty serious evening in terms of what we've discussed so far.
Shut up.
Just to both of you, apparently there is another big contest on this summer. For many, it's the biggest contest, and that is, of course, the Euros. We know you're both football fans. You are not the only leaders under pressure to win, and sometimes accused of not being exciting enough. So here, slightly with my tongue in cheek, if you'll forgive me, both of you, is a question that we've literally just had in from Gareth, who's on his way to Germany. What is the best leadership approach? Play it safe or take some risks and go for the win? What would be your leadership style? Rishi Sunak, quickly.
Well, not to give advice to Gareth Southgate, who, when I met him, we did discuss who had the worst job in Britain in terms of other people giving you their opinions. But I'd say you need to have a clear plan and you need to take bold action, because you don't do anything without those things.
Thank you very much, Rishi Sunak. Keir Starmer, briefly.
Game plan, good squad, and he's got both of those. I really think England are going to do really well this year. He's got a fantastic team, and I'm really
radical, or do you play it safe?
Sorry? You need a strategy for winning, so it depends who you're playing, what the issue is. That's what Gareth does. He's very, very good at this, and he's built
your strategy for winning was to wait for the Conservative Party to shoot themselves in the foot.
Thank you very much,
repeatedly.
Gentlemen, for both of those answers on the footy.
All right, okay, can I turn this off?
And we go now to the candidates' closing statements.
God.
First of all,
we're nearly there.
Thank you. I don't offer you the gimmicks or unfunded promises that Rishi Sunak does. I don't pretend there's a magic wand that will fix everything overnight. Instead, I offer a practical, common-sense plan to change Britain. This election is about who our country works for. The simple, patriotic belief that Britain can be better and must be better. Imagine how you would feel waking up on July the 5th to 5 more years of the Conservatives. 5 more years of decline and division. The arsonists handed back the match. Now imagine turning the page with a Labour government that rolls up its sleeves and gets on with the job, that puts the country back in your service. The choice at this election is clear. More chaos with the Conservatives, or the chance to rebuild Britain with a changed Labour Party.
Thank you, Keir Starmer. Rishi Sunak.
Either Keir Starmer or I will be your Prime Minister, and a vote for anyone else makes it more likely that it will be him. Agree or disagree with me, you know what I stand for. I'll always have your back, as I did with furlough. But with Keir Starmer, apart from higher taxes, you don't know what you'd get, and neither does he. And we've heard a lot about change from him, but change to what? Keir Starmer is asking you to hand him a blank cheque.
Change to what? That's
when he
a good
hasn't
question,
said
actually.
what he'll buy with it, or how much it's going to cost you. In uncertain times, we simply cannot afford an uncertain Prime Minister.
Didn't do that.
If you don't know what you're going to get with Labour, don't vote for it.
Don't vote for it.
On the 4th of July, choose lower immigration, lower taxes, and protected pensions. Choose a secure future with the Conservatives.
Thank you very much indeed, Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer. Well, that's it. Quite enough.
Yeah, that's enough's enough. We're out, doll. We're out.
I mean, we're not out. We're not out.
No, we're not out, but we're out of that. Right, so here's the thing. Here's the thing that gets me.
Just make us full screen. I don't even want to see their face. I don't even want to see their bloody faces anymore, John.
Right. Here's the thing. What?
I gained more wrinkles in my forehead during the course of that.
I just can't go on. I can't go on.
We've got more of these. We got more of these. They loved it. They all had a great time. They're saying they're laughing their asses off. I've lost the will to live here. I've been teetotal for years. I'm thinking about getting off that wagon.
It's just like,
Get back on it.
How does one cope? Oh, bloody hell. Right, and what was the standout? What was the standout for you, Ben?
I think it was Toolmaker Bingo.
If I get something in my face.
Well, yeah, I think it was Toolmaker Bingo, but actually, I think the standout was the fact that they were just both waffling on about crap, and it's clear that neither of them have an actual plan that will help. As I said this morning on my stream, you know, I am almost the lowest of the classes. I am as working class as they get, right? And I haven't got a pot to piss in. I live in a council house, and I have no idea how to move upwards in society. And I'm trying my best to break my own way out and do my own thing. And I just feel like I'm struggling and hitting a brick wall. I'm a 35-year-old man with a wife and kids. I don't know how to move upwards. I don't know how to move forwards. And neither of these two morons have given me that answer.
No, well, they won't, because they don't know either. What I find incredible about Rishi is when she goes to him at the end, right, and then for him to give his closing speech, and he sits there, he stands there and goes, it's as if there's a period of rebooting required before
it's both of them. It's not just Rishi, it's both of them. I thought they were both like the AI versions of them. Bloody the charisma oozing from Keir Starmer. He couldn't even drum up some faux excitement when he was talking about the football. Now, I bloody hate football. But if Gareth Southgate tweeted into me, I'd just be like, come on, Gareth, go for it, man. You know, do the country proud. But he just goes, you have to have a clear and concise plan to win.
a strategy for winning.
Just Britmate says, God help Starmer's wife. Oh yes, darling.
Oh,
absolutely wonderful.
I bet she gets a pounding tonight. His adrenaline will be flowing.
Or what constitutes a pounding in the Starmer household?
Was it good for you, dear?
Was it good for you, darling?
Right. Anyway, I think I hate to say it, but I think the rat won that one.
I think we won that debate, me and you.
Yeah, well, yeah, but out of the two of them, the rat was ahead because I know the rat did start off just by attacking the fact that all Labour will do is put up taxes, but we all know that anyway. And
Yeah.
he's doing it anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. But Starmer just said he had a plan and never gave us any details and never said how he would fix anything.
Correct. Do you know what? I think we should do these for the presidential debates as well.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we should do these just all round for the debates. They're asking for more of them, so we'll do the US presidential elections as well. And if anybody wants to support us and send in a donation, either personally, privately, whatever, I will try and get a whiteboard on a stand so that I can make a Toolmaker Bingo board for next time.
You're going to have to get a wider lens then.
Well, I can. Yeah, no. I want to get a whiteboard on a stand, and we can do Toolmaker Bingo.
Yeah, and you're going to need a wider lens so we can see it.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah, we need a wider lens anyway because your head's getting bigger on a daily basis. Anyway,
well, that's purely because of how well I am received.
Yeah, indeed.
By everybody except my store. He's gone again. He's gone again. He went again. Look, he's gone again. It's very weird because he goes, but I don't.
It just says sinking for some reason.
Yeah, but the show's still going out, and I'm still on it.
Yeah, well, it will be because nobody stopped the show. Remember, the show comes from EV Mux, not from me.
So Britmate says, good job tonight, fellas. Chat was hopping. Well, thank you very much. And you know what? Like the stream, please. Give it a like. give it a subscribe, whatever. Unfortunately, I don't think there's anything we can do about having to pause it so that I can speak. Otherwise, we get the echo because it's just the way the audio feeds into the system.
Yeah, because the problem is videos that we put into EVMux are fine because they play from EVMux. But the problem is if I'm streaming video to EVMux and you're talking as well, right?
I think if you do it directly from YouTube, it'll be a completely different audio source.
It doesn't matter.
Well, I think it does.
What do you mean? What, share YouTube?
If
Right, okay, let's just test it. Do you want to test it?
As in, if you get your feed directly from YouTube, not a screen capture.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that then. Okay.
Right.
Right, okay. So give me a sec. Share screen. ITV News, YouTube, right? Okay.
So not a screen capture.
This is not a screen capture. This is directly from YouTube, right? And I'll just add it. Okay, there you go. Right?
No, you're sharing the screen.
No, I'm not. This is a screen capture.
And I just said not a screen capture.
Sorry, this is an application capture.
Don't even want an application capture.
Well, how the fuck am I supposed to bring it in?
All right, fine. Just do that. Let's see that.
You either capture the application or you capture the screen or you capture the window. Which one would you like?
Let's see this as it is, right? And let's see if we can hear anything without you having to. So, hello. I can hear it. Can you hear it, John?
I can hear it, but they won't be able to hear it.
I can hear it.
They won't be able to hear it.
If me and you can hear it, surely they can.
They won't be able to hear it. Can you hear it, Troll Room? Robin, can you hear it?
They can hear
it. They can hear it?
Yes.
How can they hear that?
I told you. It's a different audio feed.
No, but how? How can they hear that and not hear the other one?
Because the other one is capturing your desktop audio. This is capturing the video directly.
It wasn't capturing the desktop audio.
But
it was capturing the road audio.
But this isn't coming from the road. This is coming from YouTube. No, it's not. The audio is being fed directly into the system from YouTube, not from the road.
Oh, well, I must be wrong.
Yes.
Right, okay, well, there you go. See, this is why we need a producer.
Yes.
Yeah, there wouldn't be any echo because Mix Minus was on. Yes, this is the John and Ben debate. I've lost. Ben's won this one.
He has lost.
Right, so the problem, yeah, okay, so we can capture the YouTube. It just won't look as good, probably. But anyway.
I'm sure we can deal with that.
Right.
Oh, that went way above my head, says Robin. Well, but put it this way.
No, it's fine, Robin. Oh, sorry.
It's a way that we can both now watch a video or a debate and both talk without extra audio issues.
Yes.
And you can also hear it.
Well done. Well done, Ben. Thank you. You're right.
I know.
I fucking hate that.
Hey! And if you hate it too...
Having said that, you do know me. You know I am an arse. Yeah. But if I am wrong, I hold my hand up and say so.
Very rarely, but yes.
If I am, I'm very rarely wrong. But if I am wrong, I do tell you. So, closing statement, says Britmate. Closing statements.
Thank you for watching this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, you can support us further here on Chasing Descent by going to patreon.com/Chasing Descent, Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Descent, or becoming a channel member right here on YouTube.
Why are you obsessed with reverb?
Because it's fun.
It's just like, well, fun for whom?
For me.
Yeah, well, why is it fun for you? Because you don't even really hear it properly, because you're still gabbering in your...
You're a 63-year-old man. You don't understand these things.
I'm not 63.
No, you're right. You're 67.
No, I'm not 67. You're a cheeky little whippersnapper, and you'll be dead before me.
I'm doing it on purpose.
And you'll be dead before me. Anyway.
Perhaps.
I think I'm going to move that air horn onto the soundboard. For
For
the next debate, because every time somebody says he's a toolmaker, he's definitely getting it. I think that's fair.
I think that is fair.
Yeah.
Right. Britmate's telling me not to be an ageist. Well, he's an ableist all the time, so I will be an ageist.
No, I'm not. I'm not an ableist.
Now he's lying.
That's not the case. Don't call me Keith. just because, I mean, I say things like have cripple will travel, but that doesn't make me ableist. That just makes me accurate.
Vaughan, I can't put reverb on Keith, I'm afraid. I don't have that technical ability to do.
I don't think anybody can put reverb on Keith.
I mean, I could go, my father was a toolmaker.
Oh, God, don't do that.
I could do that.
Right, I'm going to mute you if you keep doing reverb.
What you should actually do is say goodbye to these fine folks and...
Goodbye, fine folks. You know what? It's been great. For you.